So, if
Hmm.
you had to
Let's
take
deep dive.
revenge on someone who was like shitty to you as a child, what would you do? Like,
So I've
ultimate
already done
honesty.
this. I have
Okay.
already done this. Okay. Somebody bullied me all through college. So I reported their Facebook profile for 4 years until they got banned off of Facebook.
If someone banned me off of Facebook, I wouldn't even know.
That's true. But when you're back, because everything is now linked, like by that
Oh,
point,
Instagram and everything.
Instagram and a lot of like
Ah,
accounts like that you've made on things over time. So like
yeah.
it does affect your ability to log back into those things.
Down, 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 down.
Hi, we are.
Nuna talk.
I'm Zara, and revenge is best served Korean.
I'm Sophia.
I don't know why I went for like a it's me Vladimir accent for that,
No, it was
but
you
yeah.
and Chenzo.
Oh God, it was Vincenzo. That's true. Vincenzo was also taking revenge, wasn't
That
he?
is true. Wow, that is true because a lot of Korean shows are built around revenge too.
We are Noona Talk, a podcast where we talk about K-pop, K-drama, K-culture, K-beauty, especially if you are a Desi stan. But we're also open to other people, just saying. So hi, people from who are not Desi stans. You can subscribe to us here on YouTube, where we upload weekly podcasts, along with every other podcasting platform like Spotify, Google, Amazon, where you can just listen to the audio version. You can also follow us on Instagram at NoonaTalk, exactly like it sounds, where we do a lot of reels, fun content, and other reaction videos. What are we doing today?
If you haven't read the title, listen to all of our silly banter. We are gonna do an episode of K drama or K flop on the new K drama Glory, The Glory, which has been trending. It's everywhere. Everyone's talking about it. You cannot escape YouTube or any K drama space actually without hearing about it. But yeah, so K drama or K flop is a series that we do where we watch the first episode of a K drama and decide whether we want to watch it further or not. This time we watched the first episode of the K drama and then we watched the second episode and then Zara finished the series. So this is also going to be a review.
So you are somebody who's seen the first two episodes. I have seen all eight that are currently available. So basically, how they've released the show is first eight, then there's a mid-season break, and they
Mhm.
are technically calling it a season two, I think, but it is a
It's a
mid-season break. They're coming back with
mid-season
eight.
break. So it's a
Yeah, they're
new
coming back with eight.
trend in K-dramas. They did that with Alchemy of Souls as well. But
Hmm.
so let's read like the Netflix blurb of this show, which is The Glory is about a young woman bullied to the point of deciding to drop out of school, plans the best way to get revenge. After becoming a primary school teacher, she takes in the son of the man who tormented her the most to enact her vengeance.
Not man, woman.
That's what the summary says. But
Oh, so they've messed up.
yeah, but also we have not talked about this, but there will be spoilers. So if you haven't seen it and you don't want spoilers, don't listen to our podcast. Watch it
Yeah,
and then come
watch it
back.
and come back.
Yeah, and let us know what you think. But yeah, so that's the
So,
blurb. The
hmm,
Song Hye Kyo is the main person who is getting the revenge, and there are, I think, it starts with about 4 or 5 kids bullying her. There's a lot of bullying, like brutal, hard, like gut wrenching bullying happening. I don't know what happens in Korea, but we have heard, and the fact that there are laws about it and stuff makes you think that maybe it must be that severe for it to be a real thing, for it to be
hmm.
this bad. But it felt like it didn't feel very well written. Like, I get what they were trying to tell us. Like, it starts off like the storytelling is happening, but something about the flow and the way it's going about is not very perfect.
So basically, we start off, and there's two parallel timelines happening. So there's the present, and then there's the past, where we see Moon Dong Yun,
Hmm.
I think, being bullied in the past, where she's in high school with a bunch of really, really rich kids, and she is not rich or well off. And it
Hmm.
seems like she's a single parent's child.
Yeah.
And now it's her living through life, trying to figure out how she can exact revenge on the people who made her life miserable. And she also had to
Yeah.
drop out of school.
Like
Um,
nothing in her life was going well. Like she was being bullied at school. The teachers didn't listen to her. Her mother abandoned her, and then finally her bullies, they use some iron to, I don't know, give her burn marks and like a lot of things. Like it's very
they scar
graphic.
her. They like physically
They
scar her. Yeah.
scar her, and then finally she complains. She makes a police complaint, and then because she's the poor one, and so the rich people who were bullying her, their parents go to her poor, negligent parents, and they say, "Hey, we'll give you a lot of money if you take the complaint back." So they take the complaint back, and then she takes the money. So she then they burn down her house, right? The bullies burn her house.
No, so pehle the mother takes the money and runs away, abandoning
Leaves.
her. Then
Yeah.
they burn down her house.
And they burn down her
Um,
house. Then she starts working at some factory. She
chicken shop.
studies. Huh?
Pehle she's at the chicken shop. Then she goes to the
Yeah.
factory. Then
Because of
she
course you
does
have
the
to work at a
academic.
chicken shop.
How else is the chicken shop going to be featured in the K drama otherwise?
Yeah.
Then she ends up giving the academic scholastic exam
CSAT.
that they have,
Yeah.
yeah, that they have in Korea annually, and she makes it through. She eventually becomes a teacher, and then that's kind of where we sort of meet her in present, where she's
Hmm.
now a teacher in a primary school, and how she's
Yeah.
using all her connections and everything to get revenge. So my first impressions from watching the show was that wow. And I think I'm surprised by this every time, but like there's so many similarities between India as a culture and like Korea as a culture, like the
Yeah.
disparity between rich people and poor people, and the way that they have this commanding control over what can, what is allowed, what, like how they can bend the law and
Yeah.
all of these sort of things.
Exactly.
That
Like if
was
you're rich, you get away with everything. Even if you're a kid, and like this idea of a hierarchy thing, which is in your mind as a kid, it's not like kids are like averse to it, or it's something that builds later on in life. But I have
mm,
seen even in my classes where, just one person gets picked for no reason. Like there's no, for at least the one that I've experienced, it was never a valid reason, or like there was nothing, a situational thing which made that person become the victim of bullying. But then they were just bullied. And it's true where like we would go to teachers, we would try to reach out to like, people in authority to stop it. But I think we have this culture where it's like deal with it, or like toughen up, get tough
mm,
skin. And I think that's such a weird way to deal. Like if someone's doing wrong, then it's not onto them. If someone's being a victim of a form of abuse, bullying is a form of abuse,
mm.
whether it's mental or physical. It's like it's not their job to toughen up, bro. Like you are authority, you should stop it. But it was just never a thing. Like Zaza, they're like, oh, don't trouble that child. Arre.
Yeah, I think there is a massive disconnect when it comes to people from, say, the West, or like West, not understanding what bullying is. Like for them, bullying is name calling or something, which is not a bad thing. Like that's absolutely a
It's
bad thing
also
as
bullying.
well.
Yeah.
However, the level of bullying that I
But
think,
this isn't bullying. Like, this is just like full on criminal activity. Like at
yeah,
some
exactly.
point.
That's what I mean. Like the kind
Yeah.
of bullying that happens in East Asia, Southeast Asia, South Asia is very, very
I'm sure other
different.
parts. Like I've seen East European shows where it is equally bad.
True,
So
true,
wherever people
true.
don't have, like wherever there's a lot of monetary disparity, I think, and
And
aggression in
access
the
to
culture.
resources is like
Yeah,
limited,
yeah.
and
I'll tell you what I didn't like. To expand on that, when we go to the future, we see those group of bullies, or like two girls, two guys.
three girls, two guys.
Three girls, two guys. So they grow up, they're still friends, they still have some weird connection where like not all of them are at the same level, because some of them were richer than the others, some of them are working class, some of them are chaebols, whatever. And they have some weird toxic relationship where, of course, since they were bullies as kids, they're still kind of being mean to each other, and that's still a thing, but they're still dependent on each other. And I think this is where it was really falling for me, where establishing their characters as adults and the relationships between them was not done very well.
I agree with that quite a lot. I think the only person who I think they managed to transition well was Park Yeon Jin, who's the main bully in the show. The thing is, I feel like with all the characters across the board, they did this. Other than her, like I think Yeon Jin is the only one they managed to not do this with, where it is the most one-dimensional and flat character. Like, I'm sorry, your entire personality cannot be I was bullied and now I'm angry. Your entire personality cannot be I have a neck tattoo and I was a bully. Like that's it. They have nothing else to offer. Like,
Isn't he also a drug seller, drug dealer? He is,
but
right?
any, like
One of
it all
them.
just feels very, very, very shallowly written characters.
Hmm.
They have nothing. Like there's one of them is a painter, and that's it. That's it.
Yeah, like there's
That's all
no
she is.
background, or it's just
There's no background. There's
us.
it feels very like, and the thing is, it's fine, like we don't need to necessarily go into the details of every single person, but then the
Hmm.
main character as well, like I feel like I know nothing about her or her motives.
Hmm.
Like from the beginning they just showed her as a small timid girl, and now she's like a soft spoken angry person. I like it just
Hmm.
feels very shallow.
Yeah, or
And
even
in
the relationship with the parents. I think usually K-dramas do a really good job of like giving a background of characters, and especially the parental issue, which is such a big, if you're any person of color, then this is definitely a talking point.
but then your storyline has to be, I'm sorry, I have watched 8 episodes. Do I know what is happening?
I
Not
was
at
just
all.
gonna ask you, like, how does the story flow? That
It
was
does
gonna be
not
my
flow.
leading
It does not
question.
flow at all. And that it feels so confusing because maybe it's the acting, maybe it's the writing. I can't tell what it is, but like there are these weird plot holes, not plot holes, but like I think they're trying to develop plots to show in the later 8 episodes. But I don't know if that's where it's headed. Like I have so many questions and not in a good way. Like, remember when Bahubali happened and you're like, why did he stab him? And that's
कटप्पा
like,
को किसने मारा?
yeah, and you're like, okay, I'll watch Bahubali 2 to get the answers. Right now, I'm like,
Hmm. Okay, interesting. Because for me, it was similar. Where after watching the first two episodes, I told you don't give me any spoilers because of this reason. Where even though the story was like nothing was really giving, I think just the premise was so interesting. Where I was like, I still want to watch it to find out how she gets revenge. And so, do we find that out in the next six
no,
episodes?
no. So she's not started getting revenge yet, or maybe
Oh,
she
okay,
has. I don't know. Okay,
okay.
so it's this weird thing where and also there's this random character of this one doctor, okay, who shows up and he's being pitched as a romantic interest for this girl, for the main protagonist.
Oh, oh,
Maybe, maybe
okay.
because he's just sort of there and he's kind of maybe seems interested in her. It's a drama, right? These are not 20-minute long episodes. These are
Hmm.
60-minute long. That means 8 into 6 is how much?
48
So 480 hours.
minutes.
Is that right? 480 minutes you have spent on just lightly
Building.
showing me things. No, it's
Yeah,
not
like
even, I
watch
don't
Home
even know what's
Alone. Like
building.
2 घंटे में revenge सब कुछ हो जाता है.
Honestly, I like in my mind when you first told me about the Glory, and I remember we spoke about it. I thought it would be like Revenge, the TV show.
Hmm. That's what I thought as well.
Yeah, it's really not.
Yeah.
It's so like so far I'm very disappointed. I
Hmm.
just don't like I think it shouldn't take you this long.
But to just summarize it, let's do a pros and cons of watching The Glory, right?
Okay.
So let's start with pros because I know there'll be a lot of cons. I'll start with pros. I think
Hmm.
one thing is that it is gory, and if you like watching gory shit, I think that's yeah. If you like Squid Games, if you like whatever in that genre,
Just
I think a
go.
lot of K dramas, popular K dramas, except Squid Games, are usually very like mild, mellow, lovey dovey, all of that. So I think to satisfy that like khoon ki pyas in you, I think it's worth checking out.
Yeah,
A pro.
another pro that I have, the premise is really interesting. The premise is in almost infallible in my opinion. I think as somebody who is adjacent to this culture, it's a great insight into how it may work. And like if you are somebody who has been fortunate enough to not experience this or witness this or know that this is a thing, it's a good look into how
Yeah.
this works.
What are the cons?
I don't understand the doctor character.
I was hoping that they wouldn't have a romantic lead in this because I felt like it would give a lot more, I think, to the
The
story if
way
that
they've
didn't.
ended the 8 episodes, it feels like there are two romantic leads.
I think
Mm-mm.
second con is definitely just okay, not the story, but just the acting. I think the characters.
Another con that I have, yeah, I just feel like very weak uh screenplay. Like I feel like it's
Hmm.
extremely weak. Like they had a good idea and they just didn't know how to
Hmm.
flesh it out.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. The idea and the concept was so interesting, but execution, it falls flat. But I think for me, again, I've only seen 2 episodes. It was enough to want to watch more, which I will. At the end of the day, any good content brings out a strong emotion in you. And if frustration is the emotion that it brings out,
Is this a K drama or a K flop?
I'd say it's a K drama. It has its issues, but that doesn't stop me from wanting to watch it or recommending people to watch it. So K drama.
It's a K flop for me. It
Okay.
absolutely is. Like, I
Mhm.
think I'm watching it just out of just curiosity. Like, I've stuck with it for 8 episodes. I need to know the how the revenge happens. But
Mhm.
honestly, if somebody else watched it and just gave me in written, this is what happens, I would be happy to do that because I just like I don't. It was not an enjoyable experience so far for me. Okay, so have
Okay.
you watched The Glory? And tell us what you
What are your
think about
thoughts?
it in the comments below. Yeah, exactly.
Hmm.
If you haven't watched The Glory, would you watch it based on this video?
Let us know, and we will be back with more exciting episodes of K drama and K flop. If you want us to check out any K drama that you think we should really watch, or you want us to watch before you need to watch it, so that in case it's bad, you can skip it, let us know in the comments, and we'll be sure to check it out.
Remember to
And
like
that's it,
this
guys.
video and subscribe to us for more videos like this and more. And follow us on Instagram. We will be back next week with a brand new episode. Till then, I was Zara.
And I was Sophia. Bye.